Hi guys, welcome back to ModCons.
So we are back. We're back in London now, as you can see
We
from
are.
Laura's background.
Yes, Big Ben, Parliament
It's
right
not
behind me.
CGI.
Yeah, it's real, authentic.
Indeed, indeed. So we've
But
just been
yeah,
in Manchester.
we have. There was all sorts of gossip about whether it was a good or a bad conference, whether it was quiet or, the
There
morale
was a
was
lot of
low.
hearsay. There was a lot of hearsay.
Yeah,
Fake news, some might say.
I think some might. But we were hands on, we were there, we were in the midst of it. And I think it was a really good conference. But yeah, I think it wasn't justified. It was slightly quieter, maybe less exhibitors and a few less people, but in a lot of the fringe events, they were full to the rafters. Like some people couldn't get in; they were standing at the back, standing watching the screens to see these talkers. So it was definitely not quiet.
No, no. And I like to say it was the party faithful. It was the
Yeah,
loyal
it
soldiers of the
was
Conservative Party came out to support their party, as they should.
absolutely as they should. Yeah, I agree. And some of the key figures were there as well, in force, front row, supporting the cause, which is what we like.
And most
Yeah.
importantly, may I say, there were more young people than I've ever seen at a conference, ever.
Yes. Someone reported actually on one of the major news channels that there were no young people there. And I was like, that is just an out and out lie. Like, because all I saw were young, like loads of young people actually, a lot more than I've seen in previous years, in fact.
Yeah. Usually you have groups of like young guys in suits who
Yeah.
just kind of huddle around together and just go like take pictures with the ministers and stuff like that. But today it felt like, well, not today, this year it
Yeah.
felt like most people there, the majority of people were young, under
Yeah.
30s who were in
Yeah.
attendance.
And there were some really good speakers as well. I saw Mel Stride talking about all sorts of things, which was like super interesting. He was, really informative, and I feel like they were very united in everything that they were speaking about. I think, yeah, it was a good strong thread of MP, well, shadow MPs,
Shadow Cabinet definitely came out in force.
yeah,
So like it was interesting because it opened on the Sunday,
yeah,
packed out room, absolutely packed to the rafters. I was actually quite surprised because it was first thing on the Sunday and nobody really goes to the welcome speech, but it was absolutely jam packed, standing room only, and it was opened by party chairman. Well,
yeah,
it's actually opened by the president of the National Convention, who was organising the conference,
yeah.
and he gave a fantastic speech. Stuart Harper, shout out to him, he did a really good job. And then party chairman came on. He was very rousing, kind of saying, "Get behind, the team. We are a team. Let's
Yes.
focus." Which was really important. And then out of nowhere, he brought out Matthew Said or Syed, I don't really know how to say
Yeah.
it, who had just written an article in the Sunday Times about why he was switching to the Conservative Party. And it's like a
Yeah.
really radical thing to say at any
Yeah.
time, but to be saying this when everyone's banging on about reform or banging on
Yes.
about, why the Conservative Party are dead or whatever, he made
Yeah.
this huge pitch as to why he was supporting the Conservative Party, and not just supporting, but joining the Conservative Party,
Yeah.
mainly because he said there's only one serious party of the right,
Yeah.
which was then the kind of the narrative throughout the rest of the conference, and
Absolutely.
total fact.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's true, and I like the fact that they had that, because it kind of just seals the deal that they're not just a distant past of Conservatives. It's the phoenix is rising from the ashes now,
Yes, we
and I think it's about time, because I do think it's fair that people take a long time to kind of regroup and regain trust, because it's been a bit of a whirlwind. It's been a bit messy, but now is the time. A little bit, but now is the time. And the fact that they've sort of been a bit quiet, kind of head down work, figuring out what actually can work and will work,
Yes.
is a true testament to the methodical thinking and a way of actually getting the UK back into a sensible grasp of economy, because currently, free fall.
It was just a hot mess out there. So obviously after Matthew Said, we had Kemi's opening welcome speech.
We
She got
did.
a really great response, and it was really
We
good. It was
did.
like probably one of the best speeches that we've seen from Kemi in a long time. And it was
Yes.
just the warm-up act, but who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah.
So it was fantastic. She was kind of saying, stand with what she was saying, kind of saying, get behind me, guys.
Yeah,
You're going to hear a lot more from us over this conference. And
yeah,
it did not disappoint at
yeah.
all. Like you said, we had
So
shadow
true.
cabinet speeches, which were kind of taking down the house. We had
Yeah,
Mel Stride the next morning. So this was very, very much reported in the news
it
that
was.
because it was at 10. Okay, so anyone who's ever been to a conference knows that first night is pretty heavy. You
Yeah,
enjoy it.
yeah,
Monday morning, if you've got that speech on the Monday morning, so Mel Stride was like early doors. I think it was like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock.
yeah. Very early.
Nobody's going to that, bro. Like they're
No.
all watching it, but like in
Yeah,
their hotel room, as I
yeah.
was
From
at
the
the end of my
comfort
bed.
of their own bed.
Exactly. After my buffet breakfast, delicious, but watching it on a screen. And so all of these photos started doing the rounds of the empty
Yeah,
hall, Mel
yeah,
Stride, the shadow chancellor couldn't
yeah,
get a crowd. But everyone
yeah.
was watching it. They just weren't watching it from there because it was
Exactly.
first thing in the morning. Um,
Yeah, but also it was the content of his speech that really had the impact that we needed. So it doesn't really matter if you saw it then or later on, because
exactly.
as long as you are hearing the good deeds that they are planning on
Indeed.
doing.
Indeed.
And what the one that stood out to me most was like new young people in work, and then getting their 5 grand towards their
That was
property or
so nice.
savings. It's
Yeah.
such an incentive, because everyone talks about getting tax,
Yeah.
especially at the moment with Rachel Reeves, and we don't know what's going to happen in November. So it's like a big thing, and so for sort of to encourage young people to have that little bit of extra help, really is it's just a token of appreciation, but it kind of goes a long way, because we need young people back in work. We
Yeah.
need them to think, oh, we can save some money and actually actually save money, or actually possibly maybe put it towards a property.
Yeah,
So
that was a really good one. Obviously, for those who weren't there, that was the first £5,000 of your first job
yeah,
can go towards your deposit. So they save that £5,000 for you. And
yeah,
then if you're in a couple and both of you have it, they're not like, no, you one of you have got it. You both
yeah,
get it. So you get 10K
yeah,
towards your first home, which is a huge, huge incentive, like you say, for young people who don't feel like they have many parties, many politicians listening to them, helping them to do the one thing we all know they want to do, which is to buy a house, start off in the world, and actually get their
yeah,
feet on the ladder. And it's
yeah,
kind of our way as a party of saying, we hear you, we see you, we're
yeah.
going to try and help you in a conservative way.
Absolutely. It definitely, encourages young people just generally.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. He did say other things as well, but that was my key
That was your
kind of.
takeaway. I like
Yeah.
the fact that he's going to abolish business rates. So that was one of my favorite points,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
obviously really helpful for the high street, for small businesses,
100%.
just to give people an opportunity to actually get a bricks and mortar shop, to actually grow, to
Yeah.
buy another premises or whatever it
Yeah.
might be. It just shows business, our people, young people, business, farmers,
Yeah.
all of the people,
Entrepreneurials.
entrepreneurs, that we support you, we get it, and we're trying to remove the barriers, not create
Yeah.
more barriers like Rachel
Yeah.
Reeves is
And
doing.
also inject some life into the high streets, because
Indeed.
the high streets all over the country are really struggling.
Bleak.
And yeah, it's actually really quite scary to see how many empty shop fronts there are, and how many
Yeah.
things are just not thriving, or people aren't taking a chance. And so having that conservative kind of backing to support it would go a long way.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I do love a good old tax break.
Yeah. Tax breaks. Tax breaks. Also announced throughout the conference VAT on private schools, which we kind
Yes.
of already knew that they were doing, but
Yeah.
it was doubled down on, which is very
Yeah.
important. And obviously
Yeah.
the family farms tax, doubling down on the fact that we
Yes.
will remove these two punitive
Yeah.
taxes on ambition or
That,
growth
yeah.
or
They're
feeding
just it's
people.
just it's just spiteful. It's a lazy way of trying to find money. And
Exactly.
that is just not the way we need it to be. And also, with all these taxes, that people are sort of getting pushed out. They're leaving the country, not necessarily because they want to, but because they're like, well, I can get a better deal anywhere else in the world, so
Totally.
why would I be here?
Well,
So yeah,
why
so
would I do that to
hopefully.
myself?
Why would I? Why? So hopefully we'll get an influx of business entrepreneurs coming back as
Indeed.
soon as as soon
So
as they're
what were the
vaccinated.
fringes that you went to? What were the fringe events that you liked?
Mm.
You went to, you sat in and thought, yes, I'm loving this.
Well, I saw Laura Trott at the Spectator,
Nice.
with Michael Gove. That was really good. It was a good sort of in conversation with and what she's doing with schools and
Yes.
education, and like she's adamantly against mobile phones in the classroom. Young
Yeah.
people should not be, and I think it makes sense. Like,
Totally.
what are you doing? You're at school to
You're at
learn.
school.
Yeah, like what are you doing? So and she said a few things that were really interesting. I think yeah, she's really passionate. Her and Helen Whately are both sort of doing this whole school thing together. So they're both very interested in education and making sure that people can grow, thrive, and prosper. And learn real things, not just the the things that aren't really that important. Let's be honest. I mean, is it that important if we know we don't care about gender and stuff like that? Learn how to count, learn how to read, and
Right.
then we can worry about the rest later.
Yeah, my one of my favorites was at the Spectator as well. So I went to the welfare back because I'm obsessed with like getting people back at work, welfare
Yeah.
skills, all that good stuff. So I went to the one with the Specky one with Helen Whately and Joe Robertson, and some other people who work in
Yes.
skills and things. And Michael Gove was chairing it, and it was actually very, very good.
Yeah.
They're all everyone's kind of singing from the same hymn sheet, really,
Yes.
about welfare. It's kind of an obvious point to make that we shouldn't be spending billions and billions. I think we're spending what 100 billion on our welfare budget. It's just obscene amounts of money, and we
Ridiculous.
can't afford it. So
Yeah.
obviously people need to get, and also the point that everyone makes and I make and everyone makes, that's just obvious, that mental health, feeling like you've got a place in society, all of these things are
Yeah.
important with work. And
Yeah.
obviously there's some elements where it's not people's fault, because Rachel Reeves's budget last year made it very hard for people to feel that they had the room to hire, but there are
Yeah.
still jobs available, and that
Yeah.
we need people who aren't working or don't have any intention of working when they
Yeah.
can work to be
Yeah.
working. And
Yeah.
obviously Kemi brought that up near the end. Welfare cuts, I think they found like 24 billion or something like that in
Yeah.
welfare cuts, which is right. And that's going to be put towards some of our other big
Yeah.
investments, which
I managed to corner Helen and give
nice.
and ask her a little question, basically about business and that kind of stuff.
Look, Laura went off and she did an amazing job of
I
nabbing
tried.
shadow ministers. So we're gonna
I
cut
tried.
to this. I'm excited. I haven't seen it yet, so it's all very exciting. So you and I can both live this anew, and we'll cut to
Yes.
Laura.
So I'm with Helen. Thank you so much for joining us on ModCons. We are the party of aspiration. So how can we get people back into work?
I feel very, very strongly about this, that we are wasting a generation of young people who are not in work or education or training, as well as people of older age, obviously not working. And not only is that costing us a huge amount in the benefits costs for those people, but also it's wasted talent. What do we need to do? Well, a whole host of things, but I'll try and keep it short and simple. I mean, one of the things is just fix the incentives, because at the moment you get onto sickness benefits, and that has unfortunately become something that is actually too easy. I know for some people it's still hard, but it has become too easy for people to get onto sickness benefits, particularly with low-level mental health conditions, when actually they'd be better off in work. And then, okay, support people with whatever support they need so that they're in work. That is the first step that I think would make an enormous amount of difference. Another thing is about making sure that assessments for benefits and appointments for benefits are face-to-face, not done over the phone. That would make a real difference to the number of people going off onto benefits, and actually instead, again, it's about giving people support to get into work, and that would then start turning things around, both making the savings and also getting people contributing to our economy.
Great, thanks so much. Hi James, thanks for joining us on ModCons. What do you think about stamp duty? Should we abolish it?
Well, look, I've made it clear that I want to remove barriers to commercial activity. I think stamp duty does slow down and suppress buying and selling of houses, but we are being very, very disciplined that any proposal we put forward, we are making sure it's fully balanced in the ledger. Yesterday, Mel Stride singled out stamp duty as one of those things that has that negative impact. So ultimately, of course, I think we'd like to see that driven down, but we're not going to make a commitment to that until we can show where the money's going to come from.
Okay, and one cheeky one. Are you going to run for mayor?
Look, my heart's in Essex. Look, one of the reasons why I spoke about London so much in my speech is because my constituents in Essex are being disadvantaged because Sadiq Khan is such a catastrophically bad mayor of London. So the home counties and the wider southeast feel the ripple effect of his failure through increased housing pressure, through the economy that London should be generating, having that ripple effect across the wider southeast. He's an awful mayor, catastrophic mayor, and I cannot wait to see him replaced.
Thank you so much. So we have a little, more content. So how do you think businesses can thrive now, and businesses, nightlife, pubs, and the local economy? How are we going to do that?
This is why we announced our business rates policy. It's for retail, leisure, and hospitality. We need to lift the business rates burden off a lot of the wonderful clubs and pubs, bars, restaurants that give not just London but the whole country a great nightlife.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
A random question. I was going to ask you about stamp duty, but we all know the answer to that now.
Well, now we know. Now we know. You're ahead of the game. Funnily enough, whenever Kemi is around, like this is like something the press don't really report, but whenever Kemi is around, there are literally swarms of people around her. You can never get to her. Like she's just followed en masse by just conservatives with phones. Like Kemi. And it's been like that for like the last 3 years. Like before she was leader, she's always had that kind of magnetism, I guess, where people are just literally following her around. Like,
it's kind of bizarre to watch that. Just in general, I always find it weird when people have people following them around anyway. But no, it's good. It means that she is liked by at least her core supporters,
exactly,
which I think is very important. So
I went to the Southern reception because I'm a Southern England girl, me. And so she was there, and she was like our surprise speaker. And it was like a packed room, but like half of the people had left, but so many people like ran back in when they saw it was Kemi, and the reaction she got from everyone was just like so happy, so so many cheers, like hearing everything she said, like so much support for her the entire conference. But it just grew as the conference went on. You could just feel people kind of rowing in behind her and getting behind her, and kind of being reminded of why we voted for her in the first place, for those that did. Like it was kind of like a reunion in a way, and it kind of felt like it was nice. It was nice. You felt it in the room. Every room you were in, you're like, we got this.
It's true.
Obviously, we should probably kind of start rounding up to the final speech.
Whoa, what a speech. My goodness.
Iconic.
I mean, she had a bit of everything in there, a bit of humor.
Yes.
She nailed every point, everything that we're all concerned about, like all the sort of real niggling issues.
Yeah.
She nailed it.
She did.
I mean, I there's so many. Obviously, she scrapped stamp duty.
Yes.
That is amazing.
It was good. She saved it to last, so she was kind of giving us bits and telling us things we wanted to hear, and we were like, Kemi, we're loving this. And then she was like, let me slow this down. So guys, there's one tax, and the guy next to me was like, oh, I know what's coming. There's one tax that we all hate. He was like, oh, I think it's stamp duty. And she was kind of giving us a bit of it might be stamp duty. She was like, I've been thinking about how I can lower the thresholds. How I can potentially tweak things around the edges. But I can't do it, guys. I can't do it. And we were like,
no,
she can't do it.
Oh.
I'm going to abolish it. It's iconic.
I mean, so iconic, so good,
the whole room. So I was in the room. Everyone jumped to their feet, like rapturous applause, just like giddy.
Honestly, stamp duty is a horror. It's a horror. So it's so great, so great. But we have to get her elected now.
We do.
But then also, we're going to sort of double apprenticeships was another thing.
Love that
again,
so much.
all about getting people back into work and helping people to kind of progress and just not necessarily go down the university route. Scrapping those Mickey Mouse degrees and actually getting something substantial that will see you through your life rather than giving you debt.
I'm glad she didn't use the term Mickey Mouse degrees, because I found like when Rishi used to say that, I found it quite like
patronizing,
insulting, and patronizing. And obviously, like you went to Stanford, like everyone else is Mickey Mouse compared to you. But the point is correct, right? Like,
it's true.
that people spending like 30K to study something that will not help them, will not get them a job, and they'll be in probably a worse situation in 10 years' time than they are right now before they've done it and before they've given away all their money. One of the things like I back and I write about and I'm working in is apprenticeships, right? So it's a way for young people who and also people of any age can do an apprenticeship. It's not just, restricted to young people, but it's a way that people can learn and earn. Like, you're not going to have any tuition fees, you're not going to have any debt, you're going to be already 3 years in the world of work, much more experience than all of your friends who have gone to uni and had a great time like dancing around, but at the end of the day they're not going to be able to get a job, and you would already have been 2 years in the world of work. So it's fantastic. Obviously the Conservative Party had done the most work on apprenticeships in the last 10 years. Like, we really have pushed, and it's been really tragic to see Bridget Phillipson and Liz Kendall, when she was the DWP minister, really not put much effort into them. They're kind of trying to talk a bit about T levels, trying to talk about a few things around the side, but they're not really trying to do anything about it. And to think that we have 1.6 million people out of work, it seems absurd that you're not trying to get all of those 1.6 million people into an apprenticeship of some sort. It's just such a waste of talent. So yeah, I wholeheartedly back it.
I love it.
Some of the controversial things.
Oh,
I felt like she was talking to you, because she was like, I'm going to ban the Climate Change Act. And I could hear Laura at home going, yes, this is fantastic.
I do love the green, our green belts and everything like that. And I do love, all of that. But we got to be sensible. We can't like cut off our nose to spite our face. So if it's not working, and if everyone is paying like extortionate bills, then we need to find another way. And you can't just cut everything because you want to hit a target in like 1 year. It's ridiculous. So I love it. But then she also reduced overseas aid budget as well.
That was shocking.
It was shocking.
And Mel Stride announced that, which was also really random for me. It just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yes. So I think it's important. They are controversial subjects, but they are things that we have to consider, because it's wildly overdue. Also, another one was the welfare budget. So cutting some of the welfare budget. So for those people that are sort of less mental health issues like anxiety or ADHD, yes, they're important. Yes, people can maybe get help and stuff, but you should not be written off work for the rest of your life because of that. And you shouldn't be able to get a car, which is what she said.
Which is very sensible.
People, should be for people that absolutely need.
It's supposed to be for physical disability, of course. And the fact that we became so lenient with it that people with, like, what they said, tennis elbow get it. It's just absurd. It's just silly.
It's ridiculous.
And it's just like the common sense had come out of government and policy, to be fair. But with the mental health stuff, like, I think the point on that, which was really important and true, is that if you've got anxiety, if you have depression, which I have had, someone giving you £100 a week isn't really going to help your anxiety or your depression. Like, that's really not going to solve anything. It's just going to make you kind of probably recoil and stay at home and not speak to anyone or see anyone or have any social interaction. So you're more likely to stay depressed and anxious.
Viral. So Big Ben's chiming in. Even Big Ben agrees with us.
So obviously the thing that we should be doing is getting people seeing, getting people their therapy that they need, getting people talking to people, engaged, working, doing things. But we didn't talk much about health, and I think that will be coming. But that obviously is something that needs to be connected to that. So if you've got anxiety, if you've got depression or whatever it may be, you need to go and speak to someone. As well as, obviously you don't need money, but you do need that healthcare element. And it's something that Labour aren't doing at all. They've not spoken about it at all. I think initially Bridget Phillipson said the VAT on private schools was going to go to mental health support in every school. She's totally scrapped that. It's not even mentioned anymore.
Crazy.
So it'll be interesting to see what we do on the health side of things, but obviously we don't have the same there's not as much grace for us to talk about health. But one of the things, like, I was at, this is me name dropping now, guys, so I was at the TikTok party the last night.
Woohoo!
Woohoo. And I was talking to someone and she asked me about Kemi and what I liked about her and what kind of made me sway towards her
Yeah,
and things like that. And I said something very like, it was obviously policy, obviously it's a very hard line between her and Rob. I like really like both of them for different reasons.
yeah,
But Kemi just smiled a lot more and she just felt like, I don't know, that I
yeah,
felt that kind of spark. And during
yeah,
that final speech, I felt that same thing again. She was smiling, she was
yes,
chuckling away, she was cracking jokes, but she had like thought through policy as well. So she was
yes,
showing us like
yes,
the depth as well as the
exactly.
charisma. And I
Yes,
think that's what really brought it all together, as well as just giving us great conservative policies that we want. It
yes,
also
yes.
showed us who she was a bit more.
Absolutely. And also, she seemed authentic and
Yeah,
honest. And I
yeah,
think that for me is like such an important thing and it's lacking in so many like politicians, to be honest.
yeah,
So yeah, it really did sort of drive that authenticity and realness home, which I think could resonate with the public. I don't
yes,
know, I don't know if, like I've been saying all along, she says all the right things, it just doesn't land. So I'm like hoping that some of these things, I mean, they were all in the papers the next day, that she
yeah,
got a lot of the like front pages of
yeah,
all the like tabloids and all the press. So if anyone has any interest at all, they should really look into that and see what's
yeah,
going on,
exactly.
and have some kind of reaction to it.
Yeah.
Hopefully a good one. But yeah, so hopefully that's enough to kind of get her back into the mix, because yeah,
I
I don't
think it
know.
has been, and we've seen even more people join the Conservative Party since that conference. Like, also, another
Love that.
journalist just randomly wrote an article saying, I've joined the Conservative Party, just
Love
fantastic.
that.
We had a girl called Sophie Corcoran, who was a really strong young Conservative who I really
Yeah,
liked and who was backing Kemi when I met
yeah,
her and
yeah.
I caught up with her at the conference last year.
Last year,
And she
yes.
was backing Kemi and she defected to Reform. She's now rejoined the Conservative
Oh
Party
wow.
after that speech. So yes, okay, she might be a bit flaky, but she's
Yeah.
back. So that's great, and I'm happy about it. But yeah,
Yeah,
we're getting a lot of people. But I think what will now be the test. Obviously, we've wiped the slate clean. We're back, and we're
yeah,
now like the most credible alternative. But the
yeah.
next PMQs is going to be really interesting to
Ooh, I
see. And it's
can't
only two
wait.
days away from this episode going live to see
Can't wait.
what's next.
Can't wait, can't wait. But yeah, I mean, all the other parties were so busy sort of bashing each other that she said a few sort of negative things about the other parties, but they're all relevant, and it didn't sound like tit for tat. It
No,
just sounded like this is actually what they're failing at, and this is
yes,
how we can make it right. And I
yes.
think that for me is also shows that you are superior as a party,
Yeah.
so that's good.
Well, she had a good joke in there about George
Yes.
Bernard Shaw, where she said, and this was kind of hinting at reform, where she said, never wrestle with a pig
Yeah.
because you both get dirty, but the pig likes it. And I think
Yeah.
that's spot on when it comes to
Yeah.
that party, for sure.
It's true. It's true. It's the way it should be. It's just, it's just a cut above.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Well, on that note, guys, thank you so much for joining us
Yes.
this week. I've had our conference debrief from the actual conference. We are telling you the full story. There is no fake news here. Don't listen to
Exactly.
who was it? Emily Maitlis. He was saying that it was a snooze fest. I think it was
Yeah.
just because nobody wanted to talk to her. So
No one wanted to talk to them. Yeah, their stand was empty, but other stands were full, like busting at the
full.
seams. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but it's been absolutely joyous, and yeah, we will see you Monday middays at ModCons. We'll see you next week. Bye.